What's up guys, Craig Yeats here. Thanks for stopping by for another one of my videos. Today you're going to enjoy this one, so share it with a friend. We're going to be talking about building wealth. Yes, we're going to be talking about building wealth. What does that mean? We want to make money. How do we make money? What's the point of making money? So, when we look at building wealth, we need to look at each person as an individual and each person's personal finances. So, on my board behind me, I have income and expenses. Now, most people individually, they always know the income and expenses, or do they? So, why do I have this on the board and why do I have these two arrows? So, on the board, I've got income, which you'll see is in blue with an up arrow, and expenses in a down arrow. Now, what do most people, when they talk about their money and when they talk about their finances, what do they talk about? From my experience, dealing with my clients and dealing with my team of financial advisors, I found that most people talk about this, talk about their expenses. Everyone talks about how much do things cost nowadays? How much is this? How much is that? Everything costs more. So people spend a lot of time talking about expenses. And I'm here to tell you, I want you to spend all your time talking about income, focusing on income. This is where your focus needs to go. Why? Because we want to build our income and we want to reduce our expenses. Anything to do with finance, us as an individual, your personal finances, you need to look at as if you are a business. Why do I say that? With a business, what do you want to do? You want to build profit and you want to make sure at the end of your financial year, your business has made profit. You as an individual with your finances need to do exactly the same thing. So you need to look at your business or your personal finances and see it the same way a business person views their business. So you need to look at your income all the time and say, what do I need to do? I need to increase my income. What else do I need to do? I need to reduce my expenses. Why? Because at the end of the day, income minus expenses gives us a profit. We need to make sure each individual is growing their profit year after year, not only just building up income and having high income and high expenses. Likewise, we can't just have a normal or low income and have high expenses because we're going to go bankrupt, or a business will go out of business because its expenses are more than its income. So you as an individual need to make sure income is constantly growing and expenses are constantly coming down. So every year your profit is getting more and more. And what do we do with our profit? We want to go and take that profit and we want to put it into assets. We want income and assets to work together, and we want expenses and liabilities to work together. So let's have a look at this. Most people talk about expenses. They're constantly talking about how much things cost, what is the price of petrol, of housing, everything to do with ongoing expenses. I want you to go and automate as much of your expenses as you possibly can. Why do I say that? Wherever you focus your attention, you give energy to it. And wherever you give energy, it's going to get bigger. So we need to get rid of talking about and emotionalizing our expenses. I want you to try and set up as much automation around your expenses as possible. So what does that mean? If you have debts, you want to set up debit orders or stop orders on your debt that it constantly gets paid every single month, so you don't have to go in and pay it. Because from my experience, what I found, when people have to go and pay things that they don't like and they emotionalize it, they start to feel really bad about it. I don't want you to feel bad about money. I want you to feel good about money. So when it comes to paying for things, I don't want you to give emotion to paying for expenses, paying for bad things. I want you to start emotionalizing the good things, the income, because we want this to go up. We want to give this all of our focus. Now, when I say I want you to give all your focus to income, I'm not saying expenses aren't important, because your expenses can creep up and become more than your income at any stage. And you so often see it when people start earning more money, their expenses grow with their income. And for you to make a profit, you need to increase your income without your expenses growing with your income. And that's what most people do. Every single month when they get a pay increase, or every year when they get a pay increase, the income goes up, and what happens? The expenses go up with it. It creeps up along with the income. And I want you to not increase your expenses, but not even think about them. The only way to not think about them is to make sure you're automating them, or you're getting someone else to pay them with your money, obviously, but you're getting someone else to spend their time when they're going to pay your bond payments, your car payments, your taxes. Maybe you have a bookkeeper or accountant or a partner or a business partner. Give them that task, so you don't worry about how much it's costing when you're making those payments. All I want you to do is spend your time here. Why do I want you to spend your time here? I want you to think of ideas, come up with options, come up with opportunities, anything that you possibly can use your mind for to come up with ways to grow your income. And what happens if you're not a commissioner earner or you're not a business? You just earn a salary at the end of each month. Same thing. What can you do to grow any kind of income? Are there any other income sources that you can grow? Spend your time, spend your effort focusing on how do we grow our income? Do we need to gain extra skills? Do we need to study more? Do we need to go on more courses so we become more knowledgeable in our job, in our occupation, in our business to grow our income? Do we need to team up and partner with other people? Do we need to network with good people? What do we need to do to grow our income? I want you to put all your focus and put all your attention right here. Grow your income. So if we're constantly growing our income, and we're not worrying about our expenses, but hopefully our expenses are coming down because we're automating them. Even if they stay the same and our income's going up, what is the next step to growing wealth? The next step to growing wealth is to take the profit, the income minus the expenses, which will give you your profit, take that profit, and now we need to start investing that money. First and foremost, we need to find profit in our personal financial statements. So we need our income to be higher than our expenses. We need to take that profit and we need to go and invest. What do we need to do? Where do we invest it? Well, for now, what I want you to know is you need to buy assets. You need, in the same way, we're going to concentrate on focus on income. I want you to concentrate on focus on assets. So on the next page, you will see we have assets and debt. In a similar way to our income and expenses, we need to take that profit and we need to buy assets. Now, with some assets that we buy, there is debt associated to it. So the same way that I want you to automate your expenses, I want you to automate your debt. Any type of debt that you have, I want you to give that as little amount of attention and as little amount of emotion that you possibly can. Once again, where does your attention and your focus go? Your attention and your focus needs to go here on building and growing your assets. First and foremost, we want to build and grow our income. Then we want to build and grow our asset base. So we want our assets to grow and we want to give that our attention. We want to give that our focus as much as possible. I want you to think about this. Are you able, the first time that you go and you buy anything that has a portion of debt attached to it, maybe it is a car for the first time, and you now think to yourself, oh my goodness, I am now in debt. If you give that too much emotion and you focus too much on it, you start to get scared and you create fear inside of yourself and doubt inside of yourself. That is why I don't want you to give it attention. Maybe you've gone and bought a property for the first time. Those same fears and doubts start to creep in and you go, oh my goodness, I bought a property for 1 million rand and it is and has a million rands worth of debt. Oh my goodness, I'm in a million rands worth of debt. What happens if I lose my job? I want us to stop thinking about that. We need to automate your debt, which you would have with a bond payment. It would happen as a debit order on your bank account. So you're not going to go pay it every single month by yourself as a cash payment. It's automated as much as possible. As we grow our asset base, our debts are going to grow. But there are people that are in tens of millions of rands of debts. There are people in hundreds of millions of rands of debt. There are people in billions of rands of debt. How do they sleep at night? Well, if you can't manage your emotions, you cannot manage money. So we need to start managing our emotions on your level of where you're at financially at this point in time. You'll never be able to get more money unless you can manage your emotions on the finances that you have at the current moment in time before more money is given to you. So we need to manage our worries, our fears, all our negative thoughts that we have around debt and we have around expenses, because same thing, we want our debt to reduce over time, but it will naturally reduce over time because of payments down on capital, as we have with amortization in South Africa. And hopefully with inflation, the asset that you're purchasing does go up. Now, what type of asset should you be buying? Because there are so many different types of investments. I'm going to talk to you about 3 different types of assets to buy. One of them is going to be a business. A business is an asset. We want our business to grow. From an asset point of view, we want that to go up, and we want any debt, any borrowings, any loans we might have on the business to reduce over time. Maybe the second asset we're going to talk about is going to be property. Over time, we want our value of our property to go up and the bond payments or the total bond amount to come down. And the third one is going to be liquid investments. Liquid investments might have debt, but for most people, it's probably not going to have any debts associated to it. So that's all assets associated, and that's just going to go up. And that's why most people start with liquid assets, liquid investments, because there's no debt associated with it. Because a lot of people don't want to be in debt. But is debt bad? We'll find out in another video. But for now, we are going to talk about assets and debt being completely neutral. It's not good, it's not bad. Where we focus is where we're going to put all our attention, and wherever we put our attention, that will grow. So we want to spend our time focusing here because it will grow. Most people, oh my goodness, I'm in X debt with my car, with my house, maybe a holiday house, maybe a business, and that creates emotion to negativity of money. And we want to take out any negative emotions when it comes to money and when it comes to wealth. We want to build up assets. We want to build up income. We want to build up wealth. The wealthier you can get, the more you can increase your lifestyle and the more fun you can have in life. So many people say money doesn't buy happiness, but there's a lot of people with lots of money that are very, very happy. Also, another time and another topic for another video. Today is about building wealth. Each individual, likewise with a business, has to have a mindset of running their personal finances the same way an owner of a business would run a business. I need to increase income. I need to take income. I need to increase assets. That's what we're planning on doing, and that's what you need to do. Think more like a business owner when it comes to your income and when it comes to your expenses. Don't just worry about how much things cost. Automate your costs, automate anything that you possibly can so you aren't physically going and spending your time, your energy and your effort on making payments. Spend your time thinking, how do I increase my income? How do I increase my assets? That's where you need to go. We want to build profits. We want to build assets. We want to build wealth. We want to become wealthy. And then once you build wealth, you can have fun. You can share it with friends. You can share it with contributions to charities. You can give money away. You can do whatever you need to do. There's so much good when it comes to money, and you can use it for good. So make sure you're taking the right steps. I hope you've enjoyed. It's very much a Wealth 101 lesson today. We're not diving into deep detail, but we've got to get our mindset right. We've got to think correctly. We've got to make sure, first and foremost, we're taking the right steps and we're doing the right strategies so we can implement to build wealth going forward. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can learn more and you can learn the next step in building wealth and building your income.